All right, we've got the brand new Vortex Defender CCW Red Dot installed on the Canik METE MC9. Let's check the zero. I think it's zeroed. Let's take some shots with it and see how I feel about having a red dot on my carry gun. $199. All right, first couple of shots. I'll tell you what I like about the red dot. It is that the housing is nice and robust, but it's not so big that it gets in the way. Like, I don't feel like my view is obstructed. The glass on it, super clear, and it also has a decent profile to it. Not being a red dot shooter, while I still felt at times maybe I was being a little sluggish as far as my time goes, because that's where I live. For someone that doesn't shoot red dots, like hardly at all, I actually didn't find it that difficult to find the red dot, and there's a reason for that. And I don't know if that's going to go for all the platforms, but for this platform in particular, let me explain. As you can see, the red dot body sits pretty deep on the slide. So while I'm not necessarily getting a true co-witnessing picture, I can almost use the iron sights as an initial indicator of where the dot, like how I need to adjust the gun to bring the dot into the window, if that makes sense. So for example, when I'm looking through the gun and I see that my front sight is way high up and it's not anywhere near aligned with the rear sight, then I know that if I drive the nose of the gun down, the dot's gonna fall into the window from the top. If I see the dot on the left side of my rear sight, then I know that I need to shift the gun to the right to bring that front sight into the rear notch of the rear sight, and that red dot is gonna follow. So what I'm finding is that it's a lot easier for me to locate the dot or to determine how I need to correct the gun in order to get the dot in the window, if that makes any sense, okay? And I'm sure that over time and with practice, that's not gonna be, like, I'm not gonna want to see that visually. I'm gonna wanna just draw the gun, address it, and have the dot be in the window. And I'll get to that point, I know for sure. But as a beginner, I kinda like the depth that this is set at, where you can still kind of see your sights in order to help you determine which way you need to adjust the gun to have the red dot come through. The other thing I like about it, I've got the 6 MOA dot on here, which for concealed carry purposes, I'm not planning on taking any super far shots on very small targets. So I like having a big aggressive dot that I can find and track. I will say that for this particular platform and this particular setup and what it's going to be meant for me, being my new EDC for now, I like the 6 MOA dot. I think it's good. I love how bright this thing can get. It can actually get bright enough to a point where I almost have to like squint a little. And I know that's hard for me to do because I'm Asian and I'm like always squinting. But it does get very, very nice and bright. It can also get very dim. So I have played with this dot in low light settings. I believe the lowest 2 settings are actually night vision compatible. And then from there we go into visible spectrums or whatever, but the adjustments are absolutely fantastic. This dot also has the auto wake feature. So if I were to leave it on as is right now, and I were to let it sit still for, I believe it's 14 hours, this dot will auto shut off, saving the battery. As soon as I go to pick up the gun or I move the sight in any way, it reactivates at the brightness setting that it was originally set to. So that means that if you have it in your gun safe for 2 or 3 days, and then you need to pull it out of your bedside or something like that, as soon as you pull it out, it's going to wake up and that dot's going to be there for you. You can turn that feature off by manually turning the dot off, and you do that by just holding the down button for I think it's a little bit over 5 to 6 seconds, and the dot shuts off. Once the dot shuts off, that's it, it's off. But if you like that auto shut off feature and the auto wake up feature, then just turn the dot on, get it set to the brightness setting that you want, considering your surroundings, if it's an indoor situation or you're going to be an outdoor, something like that, and then just let it go. And it'll shut off after 14 hours. And then when you move the gun or when you move the sight, it turns back on at the brightness setting that it was at before it did the auto shut off. So I think that's a very cool feature that the Defender CCW and some of the other red dots that Vortex has put out have that feature too. The Spark Solar AR is the one. I'm not going to say it's a downside, but something that I am noticing is that I don't know. It's different for me to rack the gun when I've got a red dot on it, especially one where the barrel and the slide are not as long. Because I typically tend to rack on the front. Not that I can't do it with the MC9, but I don't know. Like I feel like even if I wanted to reach over the top, I just have a tendency to want to do that. I guess maybe I don't want to dirty up the glass by grabbing the dot and having my hand squish up against the glass. Doesn't really seem to affect it. I did smudge it a little bit, and there's not really any noticeable difference to it. So that's just me being in my own head, not knowing enough about dots. So I'll learn as I go. But initial thoughts on the Vortex Defender CCW Red Dot is that it is perfect for a carry gun like this. It's not so much wider that it makes it obvious or obtrusive or anything like that. It's in a good solid position where any holsters that are set up for red dots, it's not going to get in the way of anything like that. The holster that I made, FPS holsters, haha, I did have it cut so that I can put a red dot on it. And yeah, I mean, just everything, the size of the dot is not so overwhelmingly big that it seems like it's getting in the way or that it's blocking a lot of what's going on. It's not an additional visual barrier for me to have to overcome. I don't know. I gotta say, if you haven't had a chance to look through the Defender CCW Red Dot system, go to your gun store, ask them if they got one, and give it a try. I think you will be pleasantly surprised. So my initial review, surprise, surprise, Vortex. I think they make the best optics out there, especially at the price point and the level of customer service that you'll get with their optics. As a company, as a whole, not just the product, Vortex absolutely is the way to go, in my opinion. But you be your own judge. With that being said, the Canik METE MC9 with the Vortex Defender CCW Red Dot is an absolute 10 out of 10 solid CCW package. Between the 12 rounds that you get with the flush fit mag, the 15 round that you get with the magazine extension on it, you get an outside the waistband holster included with the kit, you get the toolkit with it, you get adjustable back straps, and then as far as the dot goes, with the price point that dot is set to, and what you get in a package, plus the customer service, the warranty, all that stuff that Vortex offers, I mean, I'll be surprised if I can find another gun package that'll out-deliver this one. So, with that being said, I'm John McClain. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of FPS Outdoors prize gun review and red dot review. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you on the next episode. Stay tuned. Super excited to have it, and thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the range.